Almost 2 months ago, the Portland Trail Blazers took杨瀚森with the 16th pick in the NBA draft. This was a surprise to many. Mock drafts had Yang as a projected second-round pick, but after a solid summer league, I'm very excited to see what he can do for the Blazers.
I mean, coming out of the draft, we got reports from executives that he was called like the Chinese Jokic and whatnot. I'm excited about that. I don't know about you, but I'm excited to see the Chinese Jokic.
Before we start talking about杨瀚森, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on any new videos. Before we talk about杨瀚森and our thoughts about him, we wanted to look at previous Chinese NBA players and prospects to see how he compares to them. Quick disclaimer, this video is going to focus on NBA players from China, not American Chinese players like Kyle Anderson. It's just actual people, players born in China.
Kyle Anderson is Chinese American.
He is Chinese American.
You learn something new every day.
Exactly. First NBA player that was born in China to play in the NBA was Tom Mershkry. Now, even though Tom was born in China, probably pretty obvious by the name, his family was not of Chinese descent. They were of Russian descent who had fled the country after the October Revolution in 1917. On top of that, Mershkry and his family would emigrate to the US. He'd attend high school and college in the United States. So it really doesn't relate to Hanson's case, coming straight from China to the NBA. But regardless, Tom Mershkry, he'd have a successful NBA career. He spent 10 years in the NBA. He was an all-star in 1963, and the dude's even got his number retired by the Golden State Warriors.
That's a pretty cool story, honestly.
Honestly, yeah.
That story goes hardest. Coming from Russia after the October Revolution, you go to China, then you emigrate to the US, you become an all-star in the NBA? Damn, Tom, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, the first NBA player who was both born in China and ethnically Chinese to play in the NBA would be Wang Zhizhi. Gonna say it now. We're gonna do our best, but we're gonna butcher some of these names.
We're gonna butcher most of them,
Yes.
probably.
Wang, before joining the NBA, had won the Chinese Basketball League for 6 straight seasons with the Baiyi Rockets. He was then drafted by the Dallas Mavericks in the second round of the 1999 NBA draft and would officially make his NBA debut in 2001. Wang would ultimately have a 5-year career in the NBA. He played for the Mavericks, the Clippers, and the Heat, so he didn't do a ton in the league itself, but still broke ground for future Chinese players.
Yeah, another Chinese player who made his debut during the 01-02 season was Menchky Batir. He went undrafted in the 1997 draft, but he would be picked up by the Nuggets during their training camp in 2001. Initially didn't make the team, but was added back to the roster after the Nuggets traded Raef LaFrentz midway through the season. He ended up having an even shorter career than Wang. He only played 46 total games, joining the Spurs and Raptors following his 1 season in Denver. 2002, though, was when we saw the best Chinese player of all time join the NBA, and it's not even really close. It's Yao Ming. He was drafted first overall by the Houston Rockets in 2002. Previously to join the NBA, though, Yao was a dominant player for, get this, the Shanghai Sharks. I know they're memed on nowadays. It's like, oh, which player's going and playing for the Sharks? Not so much nowadays. You know, this is really a meme a couple years ago. You still see it tossed around a little bit, though, but it is funny how we always hear about, oh, when's Ben Simmons going to make his debut for Shanghai, right? But turns out the best Chinese player of all time got his start there.
And the dude was putting up wilt numbers there. Get this, in his final playoffs before joining the NBA for the Sharks, this dude averaged 38.9 points per game, 20.2 rebounds on 76% shooting, and led them to their first ever CBA title. Now you can kind of see why he was taken first overall. And as we all know, once he entered the NBA, the dude was an immediate success. He made 8 All-Star teams, 5 All-NBA teams. Unfortunately, his career was cut short due to injuries. I mean, it makes sense. The dude's 7'6". He played at 310 pounds. That takes some wear and tear on your knees and ankles, but it still just sucked to see.
Even with injuries, though, like I said earlier, Yao, the best Asian basketball player of all time, and it's really not close. I mean, who's second? Rui Hachimura, maybe?
I'd probably say so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy Lin is technically Taiwanese American, so you could say him because he's ethnically Asian, so you could say him maybe, but yeah, I mean, the gap between whoever's second and Yao is a f***ing crater. 5 years after Yao was drafted, though, we had 2 Chinese players taken in the 2007 draft. The first being Yi Jianlian, who was drafted by the Bucks with the 6th overall pick. Now, does go a little bit against the title, but Yi was probably a better prospect than Yang. I mean, he was taken 6th instead of 16th, but you know, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story,
yeah,
right?
We're biased
or in this case, a good title and thumbnail.
Yeah, I mean, he was a stretch 4. He was 7 feet tall. He could put the ball on the floor. He had a pretty good skill set, and like a skill set that would work well in the modern NBA, and it looked promising early on. I mean, he was Rookie of the Month in December, but after just 1 season in Milwaukee as the 6th overall pick, he was traded to the Nets in a deal centered around Richard Jefferson. And following that, he just struggled with injuries, and he'd only play 5 seasons in the NBA. Sun Yu was also taken in the 07 draft. He went 40th overall to the Lakers. He'd only played 10 total games in Los Angeles, but those 10 games did take place during the 09 season, so he was a champion, and he did receive his ring.
Then a few guys in the last decade. Zhou Qi was drafted in the 2nd round by the Rockets in 2016. He only played 19 games across 2 seasons. And then finally, Sui Yongxi, who went undrafted in 2024, but did get a spot on the Blazers Summer League roster and would eventually sign a 2-way deal with the Nets, played in 5 games last season. And that brings us to Yang, only the 3rd Chinese player drafted in the 1st round. Blazers took him at 16 in this year's draft. Fully transparent, had no idea who he was entering the draft. I actually was pretty hyped about the guy we originally took at 11 before I knew the trade had went through, the Cedric Coward guy from Washington State, you know, got his start at Willamette University, went to Eastern Washington, then Wazoo. Seemed like a pretty good 3-and-D prospect. So we drafted him at 11. I was just like, okay, yeah, I can get down with this. Right. And I saw we traded him like a couple minutes later, and I was like, well, who the f for? We didn't know the details at the time, so I was pissed at first, but I kind of got on board a little later. We'll get to that in a sec.
Yeah, and when Yang Hansen was drafted, it was a pick that baffled a lot of people because, like we said in the intro, he was projected to be a 2nd-round pick in many mock drafts leading up to the draft, and it was so funny that he was drafted like from the nosebleeds. Like I saw comments saying like being drafted from the nosebleeds is crazy, but honestly, credit to him for going to the draft. And he was a guy the Blazers have been scouting for a while, actually. For the past 2 years, they even made a trip to China just to scout him, and he had been climbing up draft boards leading up to the draft. He had a very good performance at the NBA Combine, so even though it seemed like a reach for the Blazers to take him at 16th, in all likelihood, he was at least gonna be a 1st-round pick. He worked out for 5 teams. Some of those teams had picks and could have taken him, so despite mock drafts having him in the 2nd round, the dude was a 1st-round talent, given how teams were scouting him.
And the thing that's so intriguing about Yang is his style of play. Like a couple hours after he got drafted, there was a tweet that went out, you know, quoting some anonymous NBA execs like, oh, what do you think of this Yang Hansen kid? And the quote we got was the Chinese Jokic. And I saw that and I was just like, oh, yeah, okay. I could get down with that. I'm a big fan of that. And that's when I fully got on board with this pick.
On top of that, he was actually a very good defender in the CBA. He won Defensive Player of the Year in his rookie season there. I mean, to be fair, the Chinese league, it's not super competitive, but just to have that skill set to be able to pass, be able to defend, gives him a lot of potential. Also, he's just a real one. I mean, the introductory press conference, he was asked what he likes to do in his free time, and he said sleep and play PlayStation. So, you know, just relates to the common man.
He's one of us, you know, he's a gamer.
Yeah.
You know, that transcends culture, transcends language. Like, you just got to say where we drop it, and everyone knows what everyone knows what you mean, right? Fast forward to Hansen's Summer League debut against the Warriors. Immediately, we got a good look at his passing ability. He had the ball at the top of the key, found City Sissoko on a back cut, which led to a dunk. A few minutes later, he found DJ Carton again on a back cut that led to a layup. Late in the quarter, he had a block on Jules Bernard, showing off some of that defensive ability, and he got his first points early in the second on a driving layup. That's another thing about his game that's super promising. Like, he can put the ball on the floor. He ain't gonna be crossing anyone up like he's Kyrie Irving or anything, but for a big guy who's, what, 7'2", 7'3", he can dribble.
Yeah, overall, a very good Summer League debut. Finishes with 10 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Following that up, he had another solid performance against the Grizzlies. We do gotta mention, this game got 5 million viewers in China, which, to give you some context, Cooper Flagg, one of the more hyped up 1st overall picks we've seen, his opening Summer League debut against the Lakers and Bronny got 1 million viewers here.
That is outrageous, honestly. Find someone who loves you as much as the Chinese people love just one of their own killing it in a league across the world, honestly.
Once again, we saw his ability to put the ball on the floor, get a nice drive and spin move to get his first points of the game. His best highlight of Summer League, though, came midway through the second quarter. It was a pick and roll with James Bouknight. He finds Hansen, who just soars for a dunk over Lawson Lovering. He also had a nice putback dunk at the end of this game. And once again, another good performance. 10 points, 5 assists, and 3 rebounds. And then in his third Summer League game, showing off the fact he can shoot. I mean, this dude can really do it all.
Yeah, he opened up the scoring early, hitting that three, gets the Blazers on the board. Also had a nice cut midway through the second that led to a dunk. Had a couple more threes overall, shot 3 of 6 from 3 this game, finished with 15 points, 3 boards, 2 assists, 2 blocks. And finally against the Rockets, once again, stuffed the stat sheet with 8 points, 8 boards, 5 assists, 3 blocks. And after that, the Blazers shut him down for the rest of the Summer League. And I think the Blazers have got to be over the moon with what they saw from him in Summer League. He's still clearly very raw. There's a lot of work that needs to be done if he's going to reach his potential. But for a 20-year-old coming in, big culture shock, new country, new everything, doesn't speak English yet. Putting up those stats, that's pretty damn impressive, I think.
Yeah, and I just like the fact we took a risk here. I mean, we're the Portland Trailblazers. We're not going to get a big name free agent. We're not going to have anyone requesting a trade here. You got to take risk in the draft, and maybe he doesn't fit in the NBA. Maybe his mobility doesn't work out. Maybe he gets injured or something. But the fact that he just has star potential, the fact that he could potentially be a star player, I like the pick just based off of that. And then what we saw in Summer League was incredible. Can basically do it all. Can shoot, can pass super well, can put the ball on the floor, can defend. I'm super excited for young Hansen. I don't expect him to be doing a ton his rookie season, but at the very least, this dude's got potential, and I'm excited to see him in a Blazers uniform.
As am I, and I just got one thing to say to the whole NBA. Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy.